Chefs, my name is Chef Ava and welcome to 𝗙𝗵𝗽𝗀𝗃 Academy. Today we will be making salad niçoise. So without further ado, let's get started. Wait, before we get started, let's go quickly wash our hands for 30 seconds so there's no bacteria on our hands or that gets in our food. Be right back. Finished washing your hands, we're now going to begin preparing our mise en place, which is going to put everything in its place. So in front of me, I have red potatoes that were pre-boiled, blanched green beans, 2 tomatoes, a red onion, a shallot, a lemon, capers, tuna, hard-boiled eggs, olives, thyme, oregano, butter lettuce, Dijon mustard, and olive oil. And for our materials, I have a liquid measuring cup, tablespoon, a blender, tongs, our chef's knife, and our cutting board. So let's get started. Are you wondering where you get all these super cool materials? Well, I have a tip for you. Behind me, I have our Rainbow Chefs backpack. Inside you will find all the materials that I, alongside all the Rainbow Chefs on this channel, will be using throughout our videos. So if you would like to purchase one, feel free to go down below or to our website to go purchase one. To start, we're going to cut our potatoes. So I'm going to grab a potato, place it right in the center of my cutting board, and grab my chef's knife. So if you've never cut before, here are a few tips. To start, you're going to want to use your chef's pinch grip. So what a pinch grip is, you're going to use your pointer finger and your thumb, and you're going to wrap them pinching the edge or the bottom half of the knife. And then with the rest of your fingers, you can wiggle them around, are going to wrap around towards the handle. Then you're going to use something called the bear claw. You're going to pinch in all your little fingers so that none of them get cut while we're cutting all of our ingredients. And then we're going to place it on our ingredient. Next, we're going to use our wave-like motions to slice through our potato. So you're going to use your pinch grip, claw, you're going to slice through the potato, perfect, using wave-like motions and applying pressure. There you go. And you're going to keep doing this, leaving the potatoes pretty chunky. This is what's special about our salad that we're making today. So keep doing that and I'll be right back. Now that I finished cutting all my potatoes, don't they look so great? I'm going to put them into my large mixing bowl. And then we're going to start making our vinaigrette. Before we start making the vinaigrette, we're going to prepare what goes in our vinaigrette. So in our vinaigrette, we're going to have lemon juice, oil, thyme, oregano, and shallot. So we have to go and prepare those before we start making the whole thing in general. So I'm going to go grab my shallot and teach you how to cut it. Are you wondering what's the difference between an onion and a shallot? A shallot's a very, very small red onion, but it also has a little bit sweeter. So we tend to put it in vinaigrettes or salads to make sure it's extra sweet and it has a pungent flavor in it. So to start, we're going to then grab our chef's knife, pinch grip, claw, wave-like motion. We're going to try and cut it in half. Please be careful of your fingers, being very careful in using your claw method to slice through. So we have our shallot in half. From there, we're going to peel it over the garbage can so that we get all the peels off, which we do not need. Be right back. So now that we have our shallot peeled, we're now going to thinly slice it. So slicing is just what we do with the potatoes, just slicing downward. So we're going to use our claw, pinch grip, and wave-like motions again to cut very thin slices of the shallot. Continue to do this for the rest of your salad. And we're going to put it right in our blender. Come on. And put it in. Next, I just grabbed my thyme and oregano. And now we're going to begin picking the leaves off and putting them into our blender so that way our vinaigrette is full of flavor. So I'm going to grab my blender. I'm going to open up these packages. I'm going to grab a stem of thyme. And see these little tiny leaves on it? I'm going to put those in. Picking all the little leaves out, getting as much as you can, a good amount in there, so that way our vinaigrette has lots of flavor and the aroma is very strong. It smells yummy, as people say. Be careful not to add too much though. I understand that a lot of us want to put a lot because, oh, more flavor. but these will be very powerful herbs, so we don't want to put too much or else it'll overwhelm the whole flavor and we won't be able to use anything else except thyme. That should be enough of thyme. Close that up. And we're going to put, or do the same thing to the oregano. Now open up our package. We're gonna grab a stem and just pick off the leaves. Throw them right in. Close up our herbs and set them aside. Next, we're going to put our lemon juice in our blender. So using our chef's knife, pinch grip, claw, blade like motion, we're going to just cut this in half. And then we're going to squeeze all the juice into our blender. So we want to make sure there are no seeds in it, so feel free to use one of those juice pressers or squeezers, or you could just use your hand and squeeze over your hand so that the seeds fall into your hand while the juice seeps through your fingers. All the juice in. Now I'm gonna go wash my hands and I'll be right back. Next we're gonna add in our Dijon mustard. We're gonna add in about a teaspoon of it. So I'm gonna grab my measuring spoon and pour in my Dijon mustard. Perfect. Give me a little tap, 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 tap on the side. Awesome. And then now I'm going to set that aside and grab my olive oil. I'm going to use my liquid measuring cup to give myself about 2/3 of a cup for making sure I get eye level. I can smell it right next to me. It smells so good. Perfect. Close that up, set it aside, and then I'm going to pour the oil into my blender. And then I'm going to use the top of my blender, twist it right on, grab it, and then turn it over. Going to press it down and blend. Now I'm going to put it over my blender, take off the top. I smell it, it smells amazing. I'm gonna grab my potatoes, going to drizzle in my vinaigrette, maybe about like half of it. Set it aside, put a little lid on. You're going to toss your potatoes that you sliced or cut in the dressing until it's all incorporated and they're all submerged in the dressing. It looks so good, and we're now ready to move on. Next, I'm going to slice my tomato and red onion. So for our tomato, you're going to keep them in rounds since this salad keeps all of our ingredients pretty chunky. We're going to cut off the stem using our claw and pinch grip and blade like motions. Slicing through nice and easy. Cutting off the stem. Bring that away. Slice into little circles. And now I'm going to cut my onion. So I'm going to cut my onion in half. Being very careful and making sure to use my pinch grip, my claw, and my wave-like motions. Now I'm going to go peel it. Okay, I'm going to cut off the main stem. And then I'm going to cut it in slices. So again, using our claw, pinch grip, and wave-like motions, you're going to get these really thin, like almost rainbow look, and that's what we want. So continue to do this till you finish your onion. Now we're going to throw our tomatoes and onions into our potato bowl. So that everything is nice and chunky. Awesome. And then we're again going to grab our bowl, pour in a little bit more vinaigrette, still saving some, grabbing our tongs, and giving that a little mix. Make sure everything's incorporated, everything is surrounded by that amazing vinaigrette. And now we're going to move on to plating our butter lettuce and then cutting our green beans. So here I have cut up green beans. I already sliced mine in half, but feel free to cut them as small as you want. You want to make sure you boil them and blanch them, which is after you boil them, you want to stick them right into the cold ice water. That way they keep their nice color. And then we're going to grab these and throw them in our bowl. Next, I am going to throw my cutting board and my chef knife in the sink. I'm going to wipe down my station, and now we're going to begin plating. So The really unique thing about this salad is that a lot of the things are, again, very chunky, and it's not really mixed in with each other. It's kind of laid on top, so you can put it as like a wrap. You can eat it with a fork. You can do anything with it, and it's totally up to you. So to start our plating, we're going to use butter lettuce. Butter lettuce is known to have a very leafy leaf to it, so then that way you could place them down into the plate and it'll look very, very pretty. So I'm gonna make mine in almost like a flower. Feel free to make any shape you want. Butter lettuce is very moldable. You could put it in any shape or form you would like. You could roll it, you could do anything. So I'm just placing mine around in my bowl. So it makes like a little bowl for my other stuff that I'm going to place inside. Again, I rinsed this one, so make sure if you get it from the store or you plant it in your garden, you give it a nice quick wash before eating it. So I have a nice little bed. Set this rest of it aside. I'm going to grab all of my ingredients. I'm going to add a little bit more of my vinaigrette because I did add those nice green beans. Saving a little bit, yeah. Giving a little mix before I add it to my butter lettuce. Scooping, I see it in, amazing, looks so good. Making sure I get some tomatoes, I get some red onions, get potatoes, green beans, all of it. And again, making it almost super pretty so you don't want to eat, but you know it's going to be super yummy. And you might have leftover, but that's completely okay. Go ahead and make another serving. I'm going to stick to one. Next, I'm going to grab my tuna. I got this from a can, which is totally fine, tastes amazing, but feel free to also use other things such as salmon. You'd even put like ground chicken on here, whatever you really like. I'm gonna sprinkle a lot. I really like tuna. Next, I'm going to grab my capers. I'm going to open up the little jar that could come in. I'm going to grab a few. I'm not going to put too many, but I'm going to still want some in there to apply flavor. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab my hard-boiled eggs. So I did not peel these, but what you do, you want to boil them for about 7 minutes, and then you'll get an egg just like this. You want to crack all the shells on the side. That way all the shells are cracked. You're going to go over to the garbage can and peel the egg. Going to give it a little rinse under some cold water. I'm going to leave that right there. Have a little butter knife. I'm going to just simply cut it in half, and then you see that beautiful yolk in the middle. You're going to just place 1/2 of your egg on top. Set the half aside for another serving, and then for the very last part, you're going to grab a little bit of your leftover vinaigrette. You're going to do a little drizzle over the top. And there you have it. And there you have it, a Nicoise salad. Thank you so much for joining me on this rainbow chef journey. If you like this recipe, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up, and go down below and subscribe to this channel for additional recipes that you can try at home. So don't forget to dig in and share this recipe with a bunch of friends. It was so much fun cooking with you today. See you next time. Bye.
Not today, I have no makeup on.